indoctrinating children about gender identity. Words matter, especially those spoken by the Premier. Today is the Trans Day of Remembrance, and this House held a moment of silence to remember those who died or were killed because of transphobic hatred and violence. Since the Premier made that damaging claim, incidents of hate directed at trans and queer people, and especially students, have been rising dramatically. My question is, does the Premier regret his claim when he knows that the only curriculum being taught in Ontario is the one posted on the Ministry of Education's own website?
To reply, I recognize the Minister of Citizenship and Multiculturalism.
Well, I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the member for that important question. Mr. Speaker, there's no question that Ontario is home to a strong and vibrant 2S LGBTQIA+ community that call Ontario home. We recognize the unique challenges and barriers faced by many within the community. Mr. Speaker, that is why we are making critical investments to build safer and more secure communities in all aspects. This includes over $60 million in anti-hate initiatives just from my ministry alone, including a $25.5 million investment on the Anti-Hate Security and Prevention Grant. Mr. Speaker, as we observe the Transgender Day of Remembrance, we remember the historical and ongoing challenges faced by the community and commit to building a stronger, more inclusive province where all Ontarians can safely and freely express their identity, practice their faith, and observe their traditions.
And a supplementary question.
Speaker, empty words that don't actually keep trans communities safe. Hate crimes are on the rise in Ontario, and in Toronto, we have seen this tripled in the 2S LGBT community. In fact, according to Toronto Police, queer and trans people are the ones most frequently victimized by physical assault. In April, I introduced an NDP bill to address this violence by creating the first-ever Ontario-wide strategy to address 2S LGBTQI safety. Every day that goes by without a provincial plan to stop transphobic violence, the community grows more afraid and is losing hope. Can the Premier, can anyone in government assure that trans and queer families like mine that they will keep us safe? How will he commit to working with us to pass this legislation as soon as possible? Thank you.
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as I have said from day one, my door is always open, and it will continue to stay open to all members of any community. During my time as Minister, I have had ongoing discussions with many members of Ontario's 2S LGBTQIA+ community and organizations, including Pride Toronto and the 519, who is just down the street, to learn more about the work they do and how best we can support them. These conversations have inspired the $4.8 million investment to 82 community-led projects that increase public education, awareness, and understanding of the impacts of racism and hate, just to name another initiative alone. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I want to say, in light of today being Transgender Day of Remembrance, not to anyone who has experienced discrimination, harassment, or is struggling, please know that you are valued and that you are not alone. We are here for you, and our government will continue building a stronger and more inclusive Ontario where all people feel safe and accepted.
Thank you. Stop the clock.